Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. We are reading Chaitanya Caritamra Antya Lila, chapter 601, 101 onwards. Prabhuji, please take over the call, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Can you hear me, Mother?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay. So, Mother Kirtida Sundari mentioned that we should discuss something about departure and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. How would you like to host?
Sure, Prabhuji, you can start from the departure, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So before I begin, I would like to follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada as he suggested. We chant 3 times. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Daita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Daita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Daita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So today I'd like to welcome all of you, and I thank you all for taking your valuable time to develop our attraction to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says that he already gave a benediction, even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was little embarrassed. He actually did not like it, but in his heart, he knows that Rupa Goswami just revealed the world that anybody recite Chaitanya Charitamrita and utter these names, then Lord Chaitanya will come to his heart or her heart and make his own seat. If somebody offer coming to stay in your house, that's one thing. If you invite somebody, that person may not want. So in this case, Mahaprabhu wants to come and sit in the heart by the mercy of Rupa Goswami Pads. So before Chaitanya Charitamrita began, our Acharya says that we go like this. Granter Aramba Kari Mangala Charan Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan Tinera Smaran. We remember 3 personality before we begin Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is in Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 20. That Srila Prabhupada writes that ISKCON movement or Krishna consciousness movement is directly under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, who wrote this Nectar of Devotion. And so in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it begins like this, that beginning of reading Chaitanya Charitamrita anytime, anywhere, if we can remember 3 personalities, Guru, our individual Guru and Srila Prabhupada, Vaishnavas, those who are associate of Lord Chaitanya, and also those who are very sincere, serious devotees in our movement, and Bhagavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What will happen if you remember these 3? Say Mangala Charan Hai Trivida Prakar Bostu Nirdesh Ashirvad Namaskar. The first is Bostu Nirdesh. 3 things happen. Bostu Nirdesh means what is the subject matter, what is the object and objective, and what is the subject and subjective. So Bostu Nirdesh here, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad actually very openly declared the secret. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad, he put this third verse. Jad Advaitam Upanishadi Brahma Upanishadi Tadopasya Tanubha Ja Atmantar Jami Purusho Sahasangsa Vivavo Sara Ishwarja Purna Bhagavan Jasayamayam Na Chaitannat Krishna Jagati Paratatta Param. The entire material, spiritual existence are existing on Brahman. That Brahman, that Upanishad or impersonal is that they worship or ultimate object of their goal. It's nothing but bodily effulgence of Lord Chaitanya. And those yogis are meditating on Paramatma. And the whole concept of God, anywhere, any believer, they're all expansion of Paramatma, is nothing but a partial manifestation of Lord Chaitanya. Sara Ishwarja Purna Bhagavan Jasayamayam. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead who possesses all six opulences in complete. There is no other higher truth or equal to that truth. So this is Vastu Nirdesh. And Ashirvad, the verses follows that. Anarpita charim chirat karinayavati nakalo samarpayitum unnatu jalarasa sarvasya. Haripurata sundaradhuti kadamba sandipita sadaridaya kandare spratu vasachinandana. When you are hearing Chaitanya Chaitamita, you are actually opening your heart for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to enter and actually make his comfortable seat, that he will not move anymore. And then your life is completely success. Completely success means you will soon act fully on the constitutional level. And then conditional, cognitional will align with it. You don't have to do three separately. And then in the beginning we said that if we remember Guru, Vaishnava and Krishna, then what will happen? Then Namaskar. This is explained. That Tiner Smarane Hai Sarva Vinasan, Anayase Hai Nija Vanchita Puran. If we can remember these three personalities, my Gurudev, Prabhupada, Vaishnavas, those who have, especially those Vaishnavas who has affection, who cares for us, for me, like this, that who actually has a affection, has a protection for my spiritual life, for just by remembering that person, it could be he or she, any devotee who cares for my spiritual life. Just by remembering that, auspicious things appears and unwanted things disappear. So this is very important. We can do this every day, every moment, whether we reading Chaitanya Charitamrita or hears, or even not that, just when we wake up in the morning. So I was a little surprised yesterday when Mother Kirtida Sundari Devi Dasi contacted me that Mother Priti Bilasini, her husband, Jagannath Prabhu, I believe, he passed away. I was a little bit like shocked because she looks like in the photo very young and her husband's very young. But of course, then immediately we prayed. I was on the way to Alachua Sunday feast. Our temple is open full-fledged. And we, devotee over there, we prayed actually and chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra for this wonderful devotee. So first of all, my sincerest heartfelt love and prayers and gratitude for Jagannath Prabhu and Mother Priti Bilasini, her family, friends, and everyone. Because Jagannath Prabhu, I'm sure, has dedicated his life for this Vaishnava family. He is very dear to Srila Prabhupada. means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement. So his devotional service will be glorious and historical in a sense that ISKCON is also eternal, as Prabhupada says. One lecture also in the purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita that there is a ISKCON in the spiritual world also. So we think sometime I was going, then she mentioned if I could speak something, little bit time. I was thinking also, rarely we do know the exact time of our death. But even if we do, still we must live until dying, isn't it? Even a person leaves the body very early, this should not present a problem. Generally, I'm not judging anyone, but generally even my mind would think if somebody would leave early age, we would think like, why? If we die before dying because we have lived in the presence to our very best. So learning from the past while joyfully anticipating the future, some of the greatest personality left the body at a very early age. Even one Christian minister told me one time, Jesus left in his 30s. That's a very early age. Shankaracharya, Prabhupada mentioned, left at 32. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Absolute Truth, also left 48 years old. So sometimes body does not seemingly untimely. However, the higher authorities know how long each of us is to remain incarcerated in these material bodies. When our time is up, they come to assist us to get out of the body. Some souls are blessed to live early as they do not have to stay long in their present imprisonment. The most fortunate ones return back to the spiritual world because they have obtained that destiny, eternal service to the Lord. And if we live a long or short life, we must nevertheless be ready to die before dying, and to die to live. Rarely do we know exact time of our death. So that's why in the beginning I thought, even if we do, still we must live until dying. In Bhagavatam, recently we were reading Maharaj Parikshit. He knew he had 1 week to live, 7 days. You know, in my life right now, I always think like Monday, then is a Tuesday, Wednesday, is always 7 days. There is not even, I don't even think of, because we are involved with the classes and, oh, what day is that class? Okay, next week, this day. So it's like always 7 days. The Maharaj Parikshit, he had 1 week to live. Maharaj Khatanga had 1 moment to live. But what about grandfather Bhishmadev? He could choose, but yet he didn't have to die, but he chose to die. So when you really analytically study each figure, that Parikshit Maharaj, when he was in the womb of his mother, Krishna protected him. But what about when he grown up? Somehow or other he got upset with Shammok Rishi, and then Sringi, his son, cursed him. Now he could counter. Why not Krishna protected him there? Because that was not highest function. More higher than that was revelation of Bhagavatam. that he will be sitting on the bank of Ganges and Sukdev Goswami will come. That Bhagavatam revealed was first time even demigod tried to deprive the mortal being like us to hear Bhagavatam. So we should consider all these things. There is no mature or immature death. That's a material view. What is more important, we must live with honor and die with even greater honor. For death is the greatest opportunity for ultimate success. So we as devotee think, I am that lowly beggar who will live until dying. So we pray to die to live eternally in the kingdom of God. I remember recently I got a little text from one devotee, and from Varaha Puran, there was a translation, he sent me a little text. He says, the Lord reveals, if my devotee is not able to remember me at the time of death, that fear is there. It was there also in me. Not anymore, but it was there. What if I don't remember? Just like this Gurukuli boy said, what if I die when I'm in deep sleep? And when I woke up, I'm in spiritual world. So I don't want to go through this experience of leaving this world. It's a good idea, all this, but these are all coming from the fearful material existence. When we have a connection with the spiritual world, why should we be afraid? We should be fearless. Prabhupada says he wants to die in the battlefield like Bhishma did. And we are all in a battlefield. We are in a war with Maya. Those who have taken Krishna consciousness, they are fighting with Maya every day, every moment. When Lord reveals in Varaha Puran that if my devotee is not able to remember me at the time of death because of the mucus, disturbance, maybe forgetfulness, all kinds of things we may think at the time of death. But Lord says, assured, I shall remember my devotee and take him back to the spiritual world. So that was very wonderful solace and like a soothing balm, on your thought. Even when Sripad Bhakti Charu Maharaj left this world, so many questions. I remember, I still look at some texts the other day. Like people ask the question, why Maharaj had to live like this? Who are you? Who am I? Why not we should see from the spiritual view what Krishna has interest. Vitrasura is a Mahabhagavat. Vitrasura is a demon and Indra is a devotee, or Indra found Vitrasura is a higher devotee than himself. That we have to see from that angle. Aham hare tava padayika mula dasanudasa bhavitasmi bhuya manasmare dasapate gunante grinito bhaka karma karoto kaya. When Vitrasura is singing like these prayers to the Lord, oh my Lord, when will I be there to serve you under your eternal associate, where my mind will be absorbed in you, my intelligence will be engaged in your service. With my body, I'll fan you with chamara. Indra is thinking, oh my God, whom I'm killing? He's a greater devotee than I never hear this kind of prayer. This is overwhelming. One of the Acharya commented the Vitrasura prayer, even though he was the leader of the demons, but such a great devotee. He's telling Indra, do your job, cut my throat so I can live. Who wants this world? You, only you want this kingdom, heaven back. But of course, Vitrasura even left before he even fell, his body fell, because he was such an advanced soul, So death is a joyful performance, not a time to lament. Of course, when Pandava's departure, hmm, pretentious departure, that they got burned in that lake house, the rumor came out. Even Krishna Balaram joined in the funeral, memorial ceremony. And Sanatana Goswami Pad writes that even Krishna Balaram was expressing their feeling for Pandavas departed. Even though they are Supreme Lord, they know that Pandava did not die. They are in the life. So nice comment given. I mentioned that before probably, but it's such a sweet comment. It woke me up that what is the value of the person's presence if we did not miss in his absence, in her absence. So Krishna and Balaram expressing that they are missing Pandavas means they do care, and they will care for eternal life. If we miss from a senior, sincere devotee because of their departure or because of their absence, that means we actually will adore. And that separation feeling in Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes, the tears in separation from God and his devotees will be the extinguishing power of material miseries. Because material world is like a blazing fire. When we actually feel separation from the devotees, senior, sincere, Mataji, Prabhus, and from the Lord, that separation feeling is most important sadhana. We should practice. Even Gaur Govinda Maharaj said we should cry that we cannot cry for the Lord. Of course, Prabhupada also expressed many times. In 1968, there was one letter in the Veda base, you can see, that he said, I'm paraphrasing, that I have no objection of death. I'm an old man. But Prabhupada was very interestingly, he says that still I wish to live because I want to see the mission and the missionaries, means the devotee and ISKCON, that I have started, maybe still more stronger before I leave. But then another time he says, but Krishna wants me to go and I have to oblige with that. Yes, whatever he wants. But I would like to see ISKCON and the ISKCON devotees, how far they are growing. It's so nice. When Prabhupada left, ISKCON had 103 temple. Today, it's over 700. They say, including all the Namhattas and everything, is over 1,300. I say, wow, from 100 to that many hundred. So I'm sure Prabhupada is seeing it, but probably he wanted to communicate with us. That's why he expressed like that. And in few, even Bhagavatam purport, Prabhupada expressed that he did not really miss of his Guru Maharaj so much. In a sense, he said he is always with his Guru Maharaj. And he told Dhaneshwar Prabhu, you should practice that. Means we should practice that we are always with our loved one as a devotee, sincere devotee, not with the body, but the person behind the body who actually dedicated his or her life for their Guru. This is very important. This is necessary. Of course, Giriraj Maharaj, I was reading one time in a Facebook where Giriraj Maharaj put in a little article about Prabhupada's conversation with devotees, where Prabhupada says, disappearance and appearance, we have no such difference. And then Giriraj Maharaj jumped into, he says, except in your case, we don't want disappearance. It's got stuck in me. It's like, wow, so nice. Prabhupada, of course, immediately reply, Jivova Marova. because we are going to accept eternity. So appearance and disappearance of this body is not very important thing. Nitya Lila, eternal life. That is we need. That is we want. That is our Krishna consciousness. So in one sense, you can celebrate a big festival today in his departure, that he's entered into spiritual domain. Wow, we all want there. But he's there already. It's such a advance in that sense. And Prabhupada narrated also many occasions. I remember Mother Lakshmi Muni Mataji many years back in the class, she mentioned that how Prabhupada was giving class, and in the middle of the class he said, "Where is Manisha?" One of his disciple, Mataji. And the devotee says, she is in her room. She is about to die. Then Prabhupada said, why she is not in the class in Harikatha? Oh, Prabhupada, this is her last moment. Prabhupada said, that is the last moment in Harikatha. Harikatha, when we hear Harikatha, our material life is dissolving. We are getting spiritual life. Prabhupada said, she should be brought in here. If she can't move well, then you have to try to bring her in when there's a Harikatha. This is the best place to leave the body. There cannot be a better place. We glorify Krishna in two ways, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. One way by singing, and another way by speaking. So two ways we glorify. But how much effect that will impact us when we hear whether it's a bhajan, kirtan, or harikatha? It will impact as much the realization the singer or speaker has. If the singer has a melodious voice but no much faith, that melodious voice will not help us spiritually. Spiritual effect will be how much faith the singer or speaker has, how much faith, how much realization that person has. So these are the consideration. It's not the melodious sound or sweet harikatha, or it depends on the realization, revealed knowledge in the heart, not acquired knowledge. Acquired knowledge is okay, but it is not. It cannot give impact, spiritual empowerment to the others. Acquired knowledge is necessary for sure in the beginning, but it has to be applied knowledge. From applied knowledge, realized knowledge comes. Then from realized knowledge, when further progress, the revealed knowledge. That time, it definitely affects to others. So it is necessary. I remember one Mataji asked to Jayapataka Maharaj that when Bhakti Chandra Maharaj passed away, and I was watching that Jayapataka Maharaj's speech, very nice. So one Mataji asked that, is it normal, natural to feel separation? Should we cry for the departed Guru? Is that proper? And he quoted that, yes, that Prabhupada actually mentioned this in Bhagavatam, a purport, that fourth canto, he says the pastime of Puranjan, that next birth as a queen and her king died, so she was crying. And Jayapataka Maharaj said, Prabhupada said there that this is how disciples should feel when a guru passes. Husband or father is also like guru to Vedic culture. And every devotee is actually guru for some or for all. We learn from junior, senior, many. Gaur Krishnadas Babaji's disappearance day, I gave 2 classes, and I remember one research that I found, that where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was establishing the Mahaprabhu's glory, where in the back of the audience, Gaur Kishadar Babaji was clapping and he was dancing. He was so happy. He was glorifying his own disciple. So we can see, Prabhupada also did that. That it's not a junior or senior. It depends on the how much advanced that person is. According to that, we must respect him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai's conversation. This is in Madhya Lila chapter 8, 248. It's a simple question answer between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Rai. Dukkha madhye kon dukkha hoy gurotara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, Dukkha madhye, of all kinds of misery or distress, what is the most painful? What is the most distress? Then Ramananda Rai answered, Krishna bhakta viraha bina dukkha dehi. Krishna bhakta bina dukkha nahi dehi aro. Ramananda Rai replied, apart from separation from the devotees of Krishna, I know no other unbearable unhappiness. In other words, we should feel separation from our acharyas, from our friends, from our sincere devotee. Yesterday, one devotee left. Tomorrow, so many will be leaving. We are also on the same track. So we should always remember that feeling separation from those advanced devotee, actually it will transform into transcendental bliss. So this is nice. Even I remember Indradumna Maharaj mentioned, I was with him for almost a month in Woodstock one time, before pandemic, 2 years back, that Maharaj got a letter from Prabhupada one time that I understand your feeling of separation from me. After I left Detroit Temple, I believe he said. And then Prabhupada said, I'm also feeling separation from my Guru Maharaj. Although I feel he is always watching over and protecting me. Then Prabhupada expressed that this feeling separation is normal, natural. And there is nothing wrong. You don't need to counsel about it, that nobody should cry. No, rather you should push that person to cry more for that devotee, if they want to cry for that devotee separation. So it is good. Even in Golok Vrindavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshastakam, we find, he said, Jugaitam nimishena chakshusha prabrishaitam sunnaitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahe name. So Lord Chaitanya prayed, oh my Lord, in your separation, I'm feeling one moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are falling from my eyes like torrents of rain. I'm saying it, I don't feel that way. But because every Sunday we recite these verses, so memorize. The whole world appears vacant in your absence. Do I feel that? No, but that's my aspiration. I want to feel that. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. This is how Radharani feels separation. This is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation. This is how Madhavendra Puripat felt separation, these three. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he's my most worshipable Lord unconditionally. So like this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made a huge festival in Jagannath Puri when Haridas Thakur left. We know that there is a whole chapter is given, actually 2 chapters describes. So it is natural. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, he reasons ill who tells that Vaishnava dies, when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live. Living, try to spread a holy life around. This is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a poem. Very nice. That in Ramayana, Mahabharata, we see so many examples, and we should think sometime, and death of those sincere, serious devotees actually give us a push to progress faster. So what's the conclusion we can learn? What is the best thing we can do? Art of living is to master art of dying. This is very important because in this world, amongst the karmis, even in America, this is the last thing people would like to discuss, even think, is death. This is the last thing, day-to-day life, nobody. So much technology advance, but death challenges all human advancements. Nobody wants to die, but everybody has to die. So much research has gone into eliminating death, but the wonder is nobody has escaped cruel death until today, this time. Until now, nobody ever. Even the researcher, scientist. That's why they make a joke. You will hear many times devotees say the death rate is same everywhere. What is it? 100%. So we should think deeply. The Bhagavatam is full of those pastimes. Teaches us how important, how the transcendental is they see. So we should ask ourselves, is my crying for my loved ones come to an end? We understand if we perform Krishna consciousness chanting 16 rounds, following Four Regulative Principles, and achieve perfection, then we all can meet again in spiritual world. Prabhupada said that. Never to be separated again. Srila Prabhupada actually, once he said, when we go back to spiritual world, you can put on the Veda base Satsvarup Maharaj's question. Prabhupada answered that. When we go back to the spiritual world, we'll have another ISKCON there. Wonderful. Means all the ISKCON members are there, of course, in their spiritual body. So don't be attached to the form here, attached to the soul who is Krishna conscious. So path of bhakti is that Krishna consciousness is the best, I would say, welfare activity for the family member and all. If you love your family, your friends, the best thing we can do, become Krishna conscious. So even if one performs Krishna conscious devotional service alone, he can deliver his entire family, all the loved ones. It's so powerful. 7 generation, 14 generation, 21 generation. In 7th canto, in the purport, Prabhupada explains this. Dhruva Maharaj, when he was leaving, he called for his mother because he was so much in love with his mother, because his mother actually guided him to become a devotee properly, how not to maintain resentment against his stepmother or his stepbrother like this, because they become stumble blocks sometime in our spiritual path. Sometimes we doubt why I'm not progressing, stumbling, because we don't appreciate, we hold the resentment. Some people that we did not forgive, something like that. And that's dangerous. So if we practice seriously enough, When time comes for soaring back to the spiritual world, we shall take all our beloved family members or devotee along. Then we shall live happily, even after together with God in the kingdom of God. Happily ever after. Disney movie only put that, but they don't prove it. But here, Krishna consciousness movement is proving it. So in conclusion, today's discussion, I want to say that, as I mentioned before, that Krishna saved Maharaj Parikshit from Brahmastra when he was in the womb. Yet later, the same Supreme Lord allowed him to die from a snake bite. Why? Because on the second occasion, the Lord has a bigger plan, service for Maharaj Parikshit that would bless generations to come. After 5,000 years, we're still talking about it. And if there was no Bhagavatam, I don't even want to think now in my life. Without Bhagavatam, I don't want to have a life. Chaitanya Charitamrita Bhagavatam, these are our life. The Lord arranged for his departure so that the sun of Srimad Bhagavatam could rise. And dissipate the darkness of Kali Yuga. In the months, years, decades to come, we will realize more and more how that your husband or father or your friend that who left, the legacy and departure from this world depends our connection with Krishna. And that thing should inspire the awakening of pure devotion to the divine couple Radha Krishna. I better start our Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Is there any question or comment or mother, or we should just start Chaitanya Charitamrita or any reflection?
I don't know, Prabhuji, anybody have any question, comment for this?
Because I didn't realize actually that long we talked, but I thought if somebody needed.
Yes, anybody have any question regarding the departure? Prabhuji just gave some of the thought. It was very nice, Prabhuji. It was very enlightening. Actually, sometime when we lose our devotee very dear and near, it's so much of bewildering. But yeah, it's so
Yes,
can.
that's true. That's true. Okay, since nobody has, then we'll start the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I also want to say the same thing. That thank you for touching upon this topic and reassuring us. Because as Anjana Gopika Bhattaji was also saying, that when somebody near dear departs, then it really bewilders our mind, because we don't even take it in a positive way. How like Gurudev left, and after this COVID situation, so many near dear ones are leaving. But thank you, we should understand, how the rat also dies in the mouth of cat, and then kitten is so much secured in the mouth of cat.
Yes,
So, thank
very
you,
good
Prabhu.
example.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for touching upon and enlightening us on this. Really grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, also another things, the devotees who pass away, we are not very much, but who is very close with them, very near with them. For them, it's really difficult to digest, I think, for at least for some time. Yeah.
Yeah.
For them, do you want to give any suggestion? Yeah, you gave whole lecture, but yeah.
But that separation feeling is healthy. It is healthy. Because of that devotee, I see Mother Priti Bilashani. I don't know them so closely, but I see that they are so much into Krishna consciousness. It takes millions of life in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, to come to mumukshu, that I want to get out of this existence. And to become devotee is like even higher. We take it sometimes very lightly. We think like, that Mataji, that Prabhu just joined. It's like, but it took million lives to come to this point. Because in Kali Yuga, it's so perverted, we don't see the value of it so much. Maybe you all do, but sometimes, we take it very easy. No, these devotees are very advanced soul. Just like I mentioned before that how Prabhupada, his purport is relevant to our life right now. That's why we emphasize more important than any other purport. Because like for an example, Prachetas, they are doing meditation underwater. Now, if you do meditation for 10,000 years underwater at that age, in Kali Yuga, if you do 10,000 years underwater meditation to meet the Lord, you can do the 10 years in devotional path in America is equal to that 10,000 years in other ages. So it's not, but when we read, wow, Putana did austerity for 60,000 years in order to get 60,000, 60,000 elephant power from Durvasa. And Bhim only had 10,000 elephant power, not so much. Seems like Putana is more. But those are those days, in Dwapara, and before she did a lot of austerities before that. We only know little bit of Boli Maharaj's daughter came as a Putana, but Putana is a position, and that particular jiva take that position in every day of Brahma. But we don't see that in Kali Yuga, if one devotee in Chicago or anywhere, in America or anywhere in the world, is chanting for 10 years, is as good as 10,000 years yogi. We should bow to that person's feet. But then Maya is very tricky. She said, you are more advanced. Why you have to do this? This is the tricks of Maya. There's so many thousands and thousands of great yogis are in this movement right now. So many demigods are in this movement. We take it very lightly. I know this person. Yeah, he sings good. Yeah, he's a nice devotee. But they are very advanced. If we would see like, oh, really, Indra just appeared in Alachua. Really? Indra from heaven, right now, with all these thousands of eyes, and you see like, wow, their chariot doesn't touch the ground. You really becoming a big deal. But when that Indra comes as a ordinary Prabhu from Bangladesh or from Tibet or Indonesia, Jakarta, one devotee, and he said, I love Krishna. I said, did you grow up? He said, no, I grew up as a Muslim family, but I love Krishna. I just want to give my whole life. And he was just singing, and then he's dancing and he's chanting, and he's going his life like this, he's speaking. These are illuminating. We should not take lightly. We should be very serious that that person is already advanced way ahead. He probably thousands of years he did meditation in other ages to come to this level. So we should take it very seriously. Those who are associating in our life, those who are coming in our way, that means Krishna is sending them. कौन कोई भाग्य से मिलते हैं हरि भगत दर्शन. Very nice. That it is the divine arrangement of the Krishna that some devotee comes in our path. And if we don't take advantage of that blessing, then we are missing. Then we have to struggle again for later for that. Even person's presence, if that person tells me something, I should take it seriously. It's for my own correction instead of judging. Rather, if we take it seriously, we can learn so well and we can advance. You cannot imagine if you live in Satyajuga, live for 100,000 years, and did not know what is Krishna Prem. Because in Satyajuga, nobody practiced Krishna Prem as a goal of life. Everybody is wonderful. They are all perfect sadhu. It seems like it will be a nice idea. And then imagine you go outside your home, every 4 person you meet, all 4 person are religious, and they are the perfect person. So you feel like very good. But is that life you want, and not knowing that Krishna Prem? Then we are missing a big thing. We want just a nice, friendly, nice, religious person. But what about Krishna Prem? Krishna Prem does not come only with the nice religious family and all this. Krishna Prem comes in Kali Yuga, bhitare anandamoy, bhajye bisho jalamoy. Sometimes outside is very struggle. Haridas Thakur, Rupa Goswami Pad, Sanatana Goswami Pad. Sanatana Goswami Pad, can you believe? Radharani is one of the Manjari, was in jail by Hussain Shah. Haridas Thakur is beaten 22 market. Is this the perfect example? Yes. That's how Krishna Prem will be revealed. We may have to go through some struggle, but if we focus on Krishna Prem, everything will be wonderful. We should take advantage of that. We should never underestimate whatever struggle happen in our life. We should embrace and learn from it and keep on going, because this life is very precious. Please, I beg you all, don't count next life. Make this life your last life. Make this life your ultimate goal achieving. This is rare, extremely rare human birth. Today, when I was reading 26 chapter 5th canto for one class in India, that Prabhupada writes there is a 2 transformation. One transformation is how to get out of the material, all this attachment, material struggle. This is the biggest. But our main focus is the second transformation, that after you get liberation, what happened? That is the biggest thing. No religion, no scripture, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, no Yuga gave this. Only here, Mahaprabhu's. The second transformation. First transformation, everybody is fascinated. Yes, it is necessary, I understand. Because without first transformation, difficult to get the second transformation. In other words, we'll take the second transformation as a cheap, not real. Because we'll be chanting for years, we don't experience. And so what happened? Did I miss something? Because the first transformation did not take place. We need to understand that what is this universal form? What is this material world? We have to understand not only just Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan. This existence where Krishna created this world for us to purify from all this material attachment by focusing on spiritual attachment, then this transformation actually will give us boost. The second transformation is mostly by the mercy, and we have the best mercy access through Prabhupada. I like the way Prabhupada said sometime that you may not even be qualified to enter from the front gate in Golok Vrindavan. And I mean, I feel like to bow down and stay there at the Prabhupada's feet. But he says, but I have the key of the back door. Means proper qualification, I may not have a eligibility to enter into Radha Krishna's divine abode, very confidential. But by the mercy, by the grace of Prabhupada, will be allowed. That's how Prabhupada said. I have the key. This is like a very confidential secret that he reveals. We should not take ever lightly. So today's verse, it's 101. It's about Nityananda Prabhu resting for a day. then went to Raghav Pandit's temple house in the evening. This is what the verse they gave me. Prabhu Vishram Koila Jodi Dino Shesha Hoilo Raghav Mandire Tabe Kirtana Arambila. Because of the time very short, I'm going to just give the little summary what I understood Nityananda Prabhu's relationship with Raghunath Das Goswami. There is two things to be focused. One is what is Markat Vairagya and what is Jukta Vairagya. This is one point. And second point is that Raghunath Das Goswami's teachings ultimately, how it is helping us, we should see in Manasiksha. Vast subject, but it is necessary. Because it will not be cheating. So for an example, one example is given that just like if you drink poison, well, I'm not saying you should experience that, but generally when someone drinks poison, poison can separate the body from the soul. That's all poison can do, nothing more. It can hurt us that much. So why in Raghunath Das Goswami's case, it's such a crucial example. His parents are Vaishnavas, but Mahaprabhu expressed that he came out from the stool pit. How could you say this? Whose parents are such a Vaishnava, they entertain, they receive the Vaishnavas. But Mahaprabhu compared to this. Why? We have to understand that this is the first transformation. The second transformation we are going to touch a little bit, but first transformation, the Raghunath Das Goswami is that we can practice Krishna consciousness. But if our goal is not focused, our goal is to live comfortable life while we are chanting and progressing, it's still considered not complete the first transformation. So just like a poison separates the body, muscle, and everything from the bones, and eventually it separates from the soul. So it is bad. Similarly, this activity, the sense gratification, which is beyond the regulative principle, beyond this four regulative principle, it's actually separate soul from the super soul. This is so deadly. Especially for those who have taken a vow that I want to go back home, back to Godhead. It should be a biggest warning. And this is the first teachings of Raghunath Das Goswami. This is what I understand from reading for many years, hearing Raghunath Das Goswami. Why Mahaprabhu is so heavy? That we should be very thoroughly clear that more sense gratification we have, more we are separated from super soul, even though super soul is in our heart, but we are opposite direction. How many million miles we can go to meet super soul if we are on opposite direction? Never, never. Try to understand this. We may be sitting right next to each other in the heart, but opposite. Sense gratification directs the soul opposite direction from super soul. So they will never meet. But regulative principle under Guru's guidance, yes, it will meet. So that's why Mahaprabhu was very heavy on this point. And Nityananda Prabhu's influence. Another point also that, I'm not saying any devotee is doing this, but the mentality is there in my mind also. We feel like sometimes to cheat Krishna consciousness to advance. I think that if I do this, I can advance more than others. Raghunath Das Goswami is exhibiting like this. So he had a two guru, Kulo Guru. He had a many guru, Raghunath Das Goswami. He had a two Kulo Guru. Kulo Guru means he will grow up from his childhood with the two guru. One was Balaram Acharya, one was Jodhanandan Acharya. And Jodhanandan Acharya is a disciple of Advaita Acharya. In this chapter, it will explain. This is one of the biggest chapters. I think the verses is 300 something. Oh, Krishna, let's see. It's over 300 verses. Yeah, 329 verses. There's a long chapter. It gives entire Raghunath Das Goswami's. It's beautiful. That so Raghunath Das Goswami thought, if I go to Lord Chaitanya, just like we think sometimes, that if I do my way of chanting and I'll advance like this, I'll beat the system and I'll go very fast. It's not going to happen. And not only that, Mahaprabhu said that his endeavor separately. Can you imagine? You meet Lord Chaitanya. What more you want in your life? You may think, if you're face to face talking with Lord Chaitanya, do you want more than that? But Mahaprabhu says, no, you are performing like a markat vairagya. Sthir hoiya ghare jao naho batul krame krame pailo bhava sindukul. Markat vairagya na karo lok dekhaiya jata jogya vishay bunja na ashakta hoiya. This is Mahaprabhu's teaching to him. He did not give him Krishna Prem, neither he told him that he can get out of the material misery. He told him no. He says, Sthir hoiya, be fixed in your devotional sadhana. Without sadhana, you cannot show me. I am looking for. Is there any example that without sadhana anybody got Krishna's mercy? Somebody raised a question, what about Kaliya? I said, Kaliya's 3 lives, Sanatana Goswami says. His previous life, he was the Bedosira, the great sage Bedosira. Such a severe austerity he did. Kaliya is not just a big snake, poisonous snake came out from the island to this, took shelter of Soburi Muni's place in Kaliya. No, this is not just a one big snake. There's a 2 life before that had a severe austerity and penance and purification. This life he just got a curse by Ashwashira to become a snake. So he became a snake as a Kaliya. You cannot show me one example. And one example, if you give, like for an example, that in Mathura, that Kaljabana was chasing Krishna to catch, and Krishna didn't want to fight. Finally, they went to the Muchukunda. Okay, Muchukunda finally regretted and finally met Krishna. But did Krishna accept him? No. They had a conversation. Krishna gave him clear idea what he has to do. He has to go back to Badrinath and do sadhana. So please, I beg you, do not give up your sadhana even for a moment or day. Take it seriously. Without sadhana, I do not see any example that anybody got perfectly. And Mahaprabhu is looking for. He says, Sthir hoiya ghare jao naho batul. Don't be like a crazy man. Go back to your home. Krame krame pailo bhava sindukul. Everybody has to come gradual, step by step. There is no cheating or beating system like I'll jump. Not possible. You may say, what about Kripa Siddha? Kripa Siddha. Show me one Kripa Siddha that actually without sadhana they just went just like this. It looks like they have Kripa Siddha. Yes, it is there. I'm not saying it is not. Prabhupada said Kripa Siddha means one example one time. He said, just like you don't want something, but I'm forcing you to have it. That's what Kripa Siddha means. Means once you got by force, Prabhupada gave the mercy sometime to somebody, just like that. Just like he told to those Indians in Bombay, you want my mercy? Then I'll pray that you lose all the material things. They got scared. No, Maharaj, they thought the mercy is like they will have a sense enjoyment more. Maharaj ka mercy mil gaya. I got Maharaj's mercy means I can now get more facility to sense enjoyment. That's not Sadhu's mercy. Sadhu's mercy means it cut the attachment of this material world. What is this flickering few years enjoyment? I mean, I went through too in my life. What is this? It's all evaporated. Can't even trace it. Can't even hold it. It's gone. Whatever enjoyment you had last year or 10 years before, you cannot feel anything. It's just some memory. But Krishna consciousness experience, spiritual experience is tangible. You can dive into one happiness with Krishna and live there for million years without interruption and experience that ever ending, never ending. This is Krishna wants. Anandam ambudhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamita sadhanam. So Mahaprabhu told him that go there and then gradually you'd keep on doing it. And he did. This is the beautiful thing. Raghunath Das Goswami, 1 year. Prabhupada even translate that he was acting just like a Bishoyi, businessman. No, what did Prabhupada write? Penny and shillings. Means like a business is counting. And he did act very perfectly. Then the separation feeling from Lord Chaitanya arising so much, still he could not go to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu says, no, this type of coming is not going to. We think like this. If Krishna walks on this street, I'll just go and fall at his feet and that's it, I'm done. No, surrender is not like this. You have to consciously mold your life to be in that position and serve him. You have to serve Krishna. You have to love Krishna in this world. And the people around you, you must respect that they belong to Krishna. The material facility you have, it belongs to Krishna. Engage for his service. Nobody is going to escape from this and think like I'll achieve it. We have to purify our existence here. And then, of course, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami, even that Nityananda Prabhu's was not easy. Nityananda Prabhu established many confidential things. We have to understand Raghunath Das Goswami's childhood life is not like our life. You know, I don't know if you heard this story many past times. One time he was such a affluent neighborhood. His parents are so scared of him because they know the material world is suffering, but they don't want any experience with their child that he will ever experience. So they would have so many bodyguard to guard him. They would have different palanquin, 3 palanquins in 3 places, 3 gates, if he wants to ever get out. Before he step to any room, he has so many rooms, houses. Any room he would step, he would not step even on the regular floor. The girls would put petals of flowers. So he always step on a flower. This childhood is growing. It's kind of like a over enjoyment in a sense, but that's how his parents wanted, that never to experience any misery in his life. But many things we learned from him. When Haridas Thakur, he had a second Kula Guru is called Balaram Acharya. Balaram Acharya used to host, just like many temple host Vaishnava traveling sannyasis like this. Balaram Acharya used to host great personality like Haridas Thakur. When Haridas Thakur came, Balaram Acharya promoted, oh, there is a great personality coming to my house. Then immediately Govardhan Majumdar, Hiranya Majumdar says, take Raghunath, please have him get the blessing of this great sadhu. What is this blessing of the sadhu? They think the blessing of the sadhu means we are making $2 million income and we're supposed to give, what was that, 1,500 to the king, and he is giving 1,200, and Prabhupada writes he used to keep 300 extra in his pocket. That's why he was arrested, supposed to be arrested. Instead, Raghunath Das was arrested. If you are familiar with this, I'm just giving a little drop of it. So question came that when Balaram Acharya invited, their parents immediately says, yes, please have our son get the blessing of a great soul like Haridas Thakur. But what is the mercy of sadhu? We should always remember, sadhu's mercy in Krishna consciousness means it cuts, it's like a sword. Sadhu's words, Sadhu's feelings, Sadhu's conversing with us is like a cutting, chopping our attachment to the material, unnecessary things that will pull us down. So Sadhu's association is the most important. Of course, Raghunath Das Goswami's parents or uncle, Govardhan Majumdar, Hiranya Majumdar, they didn't think like that. They thought means we are now big collector, Jamindar, and when Raghunath grows up, he will become bigger Jamindar. This is what Sadhu's mercy, they think, affects. But Balaram Acharya is a great Vaishnava, so he said, sure, I'll invite. So Raghunath, a baby, not baby, young boy, went there. And his parents sent so many gold, gold and the silk and all these expensive things for Haridas Thakur. You know, it's funny, Haridas Thakur saw those gifts. He looked at it, he said, what is this? He said, these are gold chain. Can you imagine Haridas Thakur has a gold chain on his neck, in his bengal, an armlet? No, but they send it. Okay, that's nice. You give a gift to a sadhu. So Haridas Thakur looked at it. And after looking a little bit, he says, where is the boy? He said, boy then is. So then they brought Raghunath. Then Raghunath immediately bowed down and Haridas Thakur blessed. But when Haridas Thakur blessed, Balaram Acharya knew what the blessing will be. Then minister, they said, the assistant of big Jamindar says, the parents want special blessing for this child, so they send so many gifts. Yes, Haridas Thakur said, I bless you. But when he was blessing, that Balaram Acharya didn't want anybody to hear. So he started sneezing loudly, you know, faking sneezing, like this, you coughing like heavy. So then when they all came back, Raghunath Das Goswami's parents says, did Haridas Thakur bless? Said, yes. He got so much blessing. All the servants says, what was the blessing? Well, we could not hear clearly because Balaram Acharya was coughing and he had some kind of mucus problem. He heard it. He was nearby. So Balaram Acharya translated. The blessing has to be translated. Why? Because what language they will understand. So he says, he will become in connection with the supreme landlord, not this small landlordship that you have here. Oh, the parent says, wow, this sounds very good. But of course, he meant that he will be connecting with Krishna, where this landlord position, all these material things is insignificant. So that's how Raghunath Das Goswami Prabhu grew up. Even you may say Vaishnava blessing is not enough. He got Haridas Thakur. No. It's required proper place, proper execution. In a sadhana, those blessings will help us, but we still have to do sadhana. He has to do his sadhana. So he's going through this sadhana, and there will be many pages. It's only 101, 200, 219 more slokas. Many pastimes will come. And I'm going to end here. If there is any question, reflection, or we can discuss few points. Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is there any question or comment for Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's an eye-opener class. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mata.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. I cannot see anybody's face, but they all sound very nice and blessing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Very, very inspiring class. We know everything that this is karmic cycle and Prabhuji complete his cycle and then he went back to Godhead, Srila Prabhupada की धोती पकड़ के enter हो गए गोलक वृंदावन में, because he is so pure soul. Prabhuji, I know Jagannath Das Prabhuji, he is so much inspiring Virasini Gopi to do all the sevas, and he is the backside director, Prabhuji. So sincere, so sincere. He never come in a front, but those who are talking with him, they know that how sincere he is in a bhakti, Prabhuji. A whole night we are decoration temple, but Prabhuji is sitting and came from the job and doing his job, because he's working in a very responsible job. Um, uh, so that he has to work, Prabhuji, all time. But he give a full time to Priti Vilasini Gopi, that she can serve 6 to 8 hours in a temple, even from last 3 years. If Priti Vilasini is not in our life, Prabhuji, where we are, we don't know. Yes, we are doing japa and morning Sisi Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, but by his sincerity of Vilasini Gopi, we become more sincere. See, stay here 3.5 hours in Atlanta. Not only my experience, even all young South Indian family, Vilasini Gopi always sit in the outside the temple and preaching small story from Sisi Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And Jagannath Das Prabhuji is working in the office of the temple, because she's working in a very responsible job, Prabhuji. And so sincere, so shy, so simple. She's not talking with anybody. So some has misunderstanding that she is very observed or very pride. But I know him, Prabhuji. So sincere soul. Yes, Prabhuji, I agree with you that he completed in 10 years his bhakti and went back to God at Golok Vrindavan Dham. But it's very difficult to digest. We know everything. But today's class, Prabhuji, I think all Mataji gets that strain, that we have to become strong. Otherwise, how can we be give a we can still not qualify to talk with Priti Vilasini, but we all have to become strong, and we will take her in a Atlanta temple, because she is so close with Sisi Radha Madan Mohan. Even community, so she preached so much, Mata Prabhuji. There is some our past karma that we get such a strong association of Vilasini Gopi Jagannath Das Prabhu. आज का जो आपका क्लास था ना प्रभु जी, टच टू हार्ट प्रभु जी, whether we are 20 years or 25 years, get up, take bhakti sincerely, or attentively japa, and then reading and writing whatever we hear from the senior Vaishnava and preach in our language. That is, I learn a lesson from Jagannath Das Prabhu and Priti Vilasini Gopi, and from you, Prabhuji. आज का जो क्लास था वो टच टू हार्ट. What is our mood to serve Srila Prabhupada? Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Jai Gauranga. Without strong association of Vaishnava, Prabhuji, I don't know where I am in a bhakti, Prabhuji. Not even myself, my 2 daughters, my husband, so sincerely hearing, and the nature is totally changed. We cannot change, because I have so many anartha in my own heart. So how can I change other Vaishnava? But by hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, their nature is changed. They started to do Damodar Ashtakam, Tulsi Puja, bring a big house for Tulsi Maharani. This is the Vaishnava Association. Otherwise, Prabhuji, we don't know where we are. This pandemic is very blissful for us. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mata. That's wonderful. To be honestly, I'm not advanced devotee. I'm just trying to be a servant of the Vaishnavas. But in my feeling, I heard Mother Priti Vilasini's class also, and I can see that her husband, even though departed, but of course, Krishna knows everything. But if we are allowed to see actually where he is right now, we would be very thankful to Krishna a million times more than now. So we should have a confidence that Krishna always do the best thing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he stated very nicely in his poem, Sada Suddha Siddha Kam, Bhakata Vatsalanam, Bhakata Janera Nitya Sami. That Krishna is such a loving God, eminently lovable, that he always takes care each devotee individually as his own. So we should be, yes, in separation in one sense, at the same time joyful that he has attained such a ultimate destiny. What more glory can we think
I
that?
think only 1 minute, Prabhu. Jagannath Das Prabhuji and Priti Vilasini both are engineer. Priti Vilasini is also highly qualified. But I like one sentence of Jagannath Prabhu that you don't want to work. Sau Sisi Jagannath, Sau Sisi Balram Sarupara, Sisi Radha Madan Mohan, Sisi Kishore Kishori, wherever she is going, Chicago, California, Atlanta, full time she is serving Sisi Radha Madan Mohan. So this is the backside director. Say always support Siva Vilasini Gopi. Haribol Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank
Sure
you.
entering Golok Vrindavan Dham.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, definitely. Definitely. He is there. You know, we are just recently discussing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing Srimati Radharani's mood. And one time, after Sivas Angan Kirtan, Mahaprabhu, it looks like we know that he was experiencing that Ashtasattik Bhav, Radharani's mood. Does he care for me when I need something in Florida? Yes, he does. And a good example is, while he was doing this, at the same time, he is aware the Basudev Datta's financial crisis. And Mahaprabhu got involved in the family life. He's told to Sivananda Sen, I want you to take care his family expenses. He personally told. Now experiencing Radha Bhav, it's so exalted. How does it relate to ordinary family expenses? Mahaprabhu displayed this. We need to take care. So this Prabhu did take care of his family nicely. Itself is a qualification that Mahaprabhu will give him so much attention that he's joyfully entering in Gaurdham and Golokdham. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, we are fortunate. I'm laughing in a sense because this was never given before. That we can enter into Golokdham with Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu's Shatadip same time in two different forms. Now don't ask me how it works. I don't know. I never had any clue, but I'm excited that two places we can be there eternally. It's such a jubilation. Never given in any ages. Only in this age, right now. So it's wonderful. Thank you for letting us know about Jagannath Prabhu. Any other?
Prabhuji,
Haribol.
yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pran Govinda
Gopal
Prabhu, for
Radhe Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
inviting me. Hare Krishna. This is very, very wonderful class. And I really liked how you spoke about sadhana, that we have to do sadhana every day. And it is the only way to go to Krishna. And this morning in our japa session also, we read that Srila Prabhupada said that chanting our 16 rounds is, minimum 16 rounds is our best way to increase in Krishna consciousness. So sadhana bhakti in one way is like following the instructions for regulative principles, chanting and all that instruction of Guru. And many times we understand that sadhana bhakti is like a Vaidhi bhakti in one way. And so there's some devotees, they challenged me also, means I've been asked this question. They're saying that you need to be on the stage of Raganuga Bhakti to understand pure devotion and to go back home, back to Godhead and all. So what you are doing is only Vaidhi Bhakti all the time. How are you going to go? Because, and he even asked me, give me an example of one devotee who did Vaidhi Bhakti and has advanced to Golok Vrindavan. So you have to transition into Raganuga Bhakti And so I know this is like a big point, but if you can answer in whatever small way, it'll be nice.
Who is our teacher emphasizing this bhakti? It's Rupa Goswami.
Yes.
So first of all, sadhan bhakti has a two division, Vaidhi bhakti and Raganuga bhakti. But the purpose of both Vaidhi and Raganuga is prema bhakti. So it's not a question of whether you're following Vaidhi bhakti or sadhan or Raganuga bhakti. Question is ultimately prem bhakti has to be obtained. And of course, there is a difference process. But if we look at very close, who glorified Rupa Goswami Pad's position? Who composed that verse? Sri Caitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam. Who composed that verse? Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur understood who Rupa Goswami Pad was. And he composed this verse and he experienced that through Rupa Goswami Pad's teaching, those who are following Vaidhi Bhakti, and he composed this song, Vaidhi Bhakti Rati Jane Sadhinata Ratna Dane Rago Marge Korena Pravesh. Look at in Bhakti Giti Sanchayan that he expressed in Kheturi festival that all the devotees, they are not in Raganuga Bhakti, they are just Vaidhi Bhakti. But their attachment from the towards the instruction of Guru was very strong. Goriyan Hat, that Garanhati, that melody that Narottam Das Thakur established there. It says in the Kheturi festival that everybody appeared there. Those who departed from this world at that time, except few, Mother Janova, they were still alive. They were there anyway, but the rest all appeared. And everybody got flooded Krishna Prem. But what's the background? Was it background Raganuga or Vaidhi? Vaidhi. Where it says Raganuga. But point is not this. Point is that underlining principle that one who is in Raganuga stage, if we follow that person from his heart or her heart, because Mother Janova also a great Rupanuga Bhakta, Sambit and Ladini potency has to enter into the heart of the disciple or followers. Then the connection of Guru will manifest here. This is called Mantra Upashanamayi Lila. If we just follow our Guru, who has a connection with Rupanuga, Raganuga, then automatically we will enter there. Yes, we scrutinize the philosophy, but we also have to see the relevant to our practical practice. When the devotee were chanting, Tannam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrito Kramena Rasana Manasini Ujja Tistan Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayet Akhilamiti Upadesha Saram. Upadesha Saram, essence of all advice is this. So they're reading and they went next door to Prabhupada and they said, Prabhupada, we are reading this, you translated that essence of all advice that we have to follow a Brajavasi. Under that Brajavasi's guidance, we should serve. So who should we focus? And you all heard, you know that. Prabhupada said, I'm here. How much close connection you want? Prabhupada revealed himself as a Brajavasi. He said, I'm here. We don't need to have any doubt of anything. Brajavasis are all Raganuga. There is no Vaidhi sadhan takes it there. But we have to practice here. Vaidhi, that will automatically take us to Raganuga, automatically to Brajaprem, Rupanuga. That's why it says, Vidhi Bhakti Rata Jane. Rata means attached. When you are very attached, very deeply you are doing this. Sadhinata Ratna Dane, Ragamarge Korena Pravesh. Nobody can deny Rupa Goswami Pad's position. And who promoted Rupa Goswami Pad is Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur revealed this Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganaga Bhakti through his song, because mostly he expressed through his song. And so there should not be any doubt at all. As long we follow strictly our Guru's instruction, we will arrive. I hope that answers to your question. Thank you, Prabhu. You unmute probably, I could not hear. Is it? Oh.
No, yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. You
Oh,
also gave the example of you answered all my questions and also gave me the example that of the Khetri festival where
yes.
the Panchatattva appeared and everybody got darshan of Mahaprabhu. Everybody who was there. So yes, thank you so much, Prabhu. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Mother Anjana Gopika. Mother,
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
any
Prabhu.
other reflection?
Yes. Prabhuji, I have one question not regarding today's class, but we had a discussion yesterday in our group about the Bhisma Panchaka, Prabhuji. Bhisma Panchaka, why we said Bhisma Panchaka? Is Bhisma Panchaka, this Bhisma Panchaka is considered, Bhisma is dying in this before 5 days. 5 days he was praying to Lord, or actually Bhisma died after Gita Jayanti, and Gita Jayanti is spoken later on. That was a confusion was there, and then also we give the tarpan to Bhisma. Why we need to give? He is already pure devotee. Why we need to give tarpan to him? Because so many pure, even who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they don't give tarpan to even sometime. They are sannyasis. They don't give tarpan to their parents. So why we need to give tarpan to Bhisma? That was a question was coming, Prabhu. Yeah, I was not knowing about this, Prabhu.
Very nice question. Thank you, Mata. This is very funny. This question is actually they have in India, and they have in Alachua, they have in Manor, because in our Sannyasi college, we throw that question. And it's funny, 3 candidates from 3 different countries, they said, yeah, this question we heard, but we never heard the answer. Of course, I don't know the complete answer, but what answer I heard and understood, that was enough, convincing. So I'm going to narrate the way I understand. First of all, Bhisma Panchaka. Panchaka doesn't mean it has anything to do with death. Panchaka means 5 days. The last 5 days of Kartik, Bhishma Dev on the Sarasajja. He was on the 10th day, he stepped down, or you can say he are no more commander chief of the battlefield on the 10th day. 9th day already started. On the 10th day, he finally lay down on the Arjuna's Shikhandi in the front, all these arrows, no space even to enter, such a heavy bedding, I guess. Not even one ant can enter. So how many arrows, like so pinpoint? That's how his bed was made. And his skin was the mattress, his own skin. Or I don't know how you're going to put it together. But anyway, Krishna proved that his pure devotee, they never suffer. And in his answer to Draupadi, he said, the blood that was contaminated by Duryodhana and these are all drained out. So that bed was actually liberated bed in a sense. At the same time, we have to understand Bhishma Dev had 2 boons. One boon from his own father, that he will die only when he wants. Means, in other words, he never have to die until he chooses. So Bhishma Dev is also eighth Basu, who has some trace with the higher planet, because at that time he was advising many great personalities. Not only that time, like after on the 10th day, when he lay down, he lived for 50-80 days more until Uttarayan came. He chooses to live. So Bhishma Panchaka has nothing to do with his departure in one sense. Of course, he was on the arrow bed and he left from that 10th day, calculate 58 days. But directly has nothing to do with his death. His departure is his own choice. It's not counted by arrow, shooting arrow or whatever. He will die whenever he wants. So he chose to die there. But every day he was giving counseling to different personalities, even came from other planets. He even counseled to Karna, because the whole battlefield took place 18 plus. And he actually, Karna even came privately and he told him that, do you know that you are the actually belong to Pandava? You are the oldest. He said, yes, I heard. He mentioned that Kunti Devi revealed that. He said, then you should just give up this idea of fighting on behalf of Kaurava and just join with them. Why are you going in there? So Bhishma Dev, he advised all of them, but Karna, of course, he did not want to give. Anyway, that's a different story. So there is a reason for it. So this Bhishma Panchaka, that 5 days he thought is the most auspicious, and Krishna glorified the Pandavas ignoring, following this Kartik Brata. And he told them to do the Kartik Brata, and they did. And their all suffering was over. Of course, they are eternal associate, but Krishna established, as Prabhupada says, that sometimes Krishna, just like a mother-in-law teaches the daughter-in-law through the daughter, similarly, Krishna uses the pure devotee to establish some principle. So we have to understand that the Krishna was using actually Pandavas to manifest certain way, certain principle of religion. Now, let's go back to the other question you had, that why we do Tarpanam. Who does Tarpanam? I remember when I went with Jayapataka Maharaj actually to the Ganges, and he did the Tarpanam there. And Bhishma Panchaka time, I remember. I was just a young boy. I was serving him. And he did actually both years that I was in his service. And I don't know right now this year, but generally he does. Now you cannot consider this Tarpanam has anything to do with the rituals of this world. Why? I give you many examples. At least one example I can immediately think of, Govinda Ghosh. Govinda Ghosh, he was a companion of Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu, after lunch, he said, I need a hartaki. Haritaki, I don't know in English what he called. It's some kind of hajmul type of, it's kind of like, but it tastes bitter, very, not a good taste. Because I remember I tasted a few times. Haritaki is like a very bitter, very funny feeling, but it's good for digestion. So after having lunch, Mahaprabhu says, I need one hartaki. So Govinda Ghosh immediately ran to the neighborhood house. Do you have a hartaki? Our Prabhu wants hartaki. So they gave. So next day, Mahaprabhu says, after lunch, I need one hartaki. He pulled out from his pocket. Mahaprabhu said, how did you get this? He said, in my pocket. He said, you are saving? You are not a good company for a sannyasi. Sannyasi has to completely depend on. Anybody follows sannyasi, they have to act like a sannyasi. You should go back home. And the whole story, he was crying. Then he went home. And Mahaprabhu told him what to do to get married and worship the deity. And there's a reason why he gave. There's a long story. But anyway, at the end, what happened when Govinda Ghosh had a child, he was teaching his own child that this deity Govinda is like your elder brother. So you worship him like your elder brother. This little baby, 2-3 years old, learning how to worship Govinda. Oh, my elder brother, you put on dress now, I put on dress. Now you bathe and I'll bathe. So they would like very nice reciprocation he was teaching. At one point, his son died. And he went such a deep emotional breakdown that he was like crying and crying and crying. And his wife also passed away. It was a very, coincidence that both passed away, and he didn't know what to do. And then the deity started talking to him. So Govinda Ghosh, you taught your son, I am as his elder brother. Now the younger brother died and I did not eat whole day. Do I have to also starve to death? Just because one brother died, you're going to kill the other son? Or you're going to cook and feed me? So then Govinda Ghosh was surprised. The deity didn't talk like this. The deity started talking. And then he says, yes, I'll cook. Oh, I didn't know that. He said, but you taught your son that I'm his elder brother. So consider me your son too. He said, okay, then why you are crying now? You should go and make the offerings. He said, I'm crying because I love my son. Without son, life is useless. Who is going to do my tarpanam when I die? Who is going to do yearly shraddha? So deity said, well, you think I'm your son? You already told your other son that I'm your oldest son. So I'll do the tarpanam. Then Govinda Ghosh forgot that he is a advanced devotee, Hare Krishna philosophy. We don't do tarpanam. These are like rituals for the karmis. That's true. But because he said that, the Lord says, I as a son, I'll do your yearly Vatsharik Shraddha, yearly, not Antistikya, yearly Shraddha, funeral rites, I'll do the rituals. I'll put on the white cloth, I'll take the kusha grass, and I'll feed the Vaishnavas, and I'll do the Shraddha every year when you depart. And till today, you go to that temple, it's a Gauriya temple, Govinda Ghosh's temple, the deity, once a year, do the tarpanam. Now, I'm not saying that when your relative die, you have to do this. We don't. Mahaprabhu said we don't. But this tarpanam is a rasha, is a kind of a transcendental mellow reciprocation between the father and the son. It is not the rituals of karma kandis. So in many examples, now I remember other examples. These are really happen like this. So my point is, when Jayapataka Maharaj does, he did not do because Bhishma Dev needed it. Bhishma Dev is such a Mahajan, first of all. And there's a few reasons how he is determined as a Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajan. And he doesn't need all this tarpanam. But out of love, I want to do something for Bhishmadev. Such a great teacher. Such a beautiful hero that, can you imagine, to go on opposite camp and take the blame for thousands of years and tolerate this just to please Krishna. Till today people think why Bhishmadev did not get up and tell the Karna and Durjodhan, stop this nonsense. Oh, why didn't he do this? Only few conditions are there. And the main one was, the vice can never win over virtue. Prabhupada writes, to prove that. There are few things also. Then Rasha. The Krishna wanted Bhishma to support the other group and join in the war so that he can deliver all these 640 million soldiers. And Bhishma Dev had to choose, not on his own choice, to be on the wrong side and tolerate that pain. He loved the Pandavas. So when you glorify Bhishma Dev's glorious position, you feel like to do something. Not that he needs Tarpanam, but out of respect, okay, I'll do some Tarpanam because he did Bhishma Panchaka, why not I do this? So in that relation, it is a rasa. It's not necessary, for sure. No devotee needs Tarpanam. They're already surrendered, what they need for. Tarpanam is like for this. When Bhakti Charu Maharaj's funeral, right, I did some research. Goro Keshava Prabhu helped me a lot because he did a lot of research on this. He said when somebody takes sannyas, they do Vairaja Home. Vairaja Home means that you already liberated, surrender soul. No tarpan, no rituals, nothing required. Even Shraddha not required for sannyasi. Only feeding the Vaishnava, that's all. You worship the Lord, Holy name, feed the Vaishnava, that's all. Nothing else is required. So Bhishma Devi is in that category. It's advanced, eternally liberated associate. There is no need. But out of rasa, Javataka Maharaj feels, or some other devotees also may feel like to do something to please him. So like that, from that angle we have to look at it, not that he needs. Now you had another question also that, what's the other part of the question was that Bhishma Dev, Tarpanam, oh, that when Bhagavad Gita appeared, it's different than when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita in battlefield. Just like on Prabhupada's disappearance day, I think it was 18th, right? Or 21st, I forgot. Yeah, it's 18th. That we celebrated Prabhupada's disappearance day. But Prabhupada departed on 1977, 14th November at 7:15 p.m. But we don't go by the Gregorian calendar. We go by the solar calendar. So it becomes different days. It never matches. I never saw 14th November came back ever. I mean, I remember so many disappearance day. I never saw that it came back to exact date. So similar way, when Vyasdev wrote the Mahabharata, the appearance of Bhagavad Gita, that was spoken by the Jaimini, the one time spoken by Vaishampayan to Janmenjaya. So 2 times spoken, the last time was spoken was very elaborate as an appendix to Mahabharata. Because in Mahabharata, if you take 3 things out, Mahabharata is just like a Bollywood song, a Bollywood movie. If you take Bhagavad Gita out, Narayani Stotram, Vishnu Sahasranam, if you take these few things out of Mahabharata, Mahabharata is just like Bollywood history. But those 3 things are the most essential, important in entire Mahabharata. So when Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita was spoken, it's one day, and when it is actually manifested in this world by the Vyasdev is the day we call Gita Jayanti. So it's different. So we have to reconcile like this. It's not conflicting. I hope you it's little helpful to you.
Yes, Prabhuji. And this Bhishma Panchaka means is Bhishma Dev leaving body also?
No. Nowhere it says that. It's just 5 days he's doing brata. So Krishna was so happy. He said, oh, you're doing even 5 days this brata. This 5 days is given to you. So from that day it became Bhishma Panchaka. Otherwise before it was just Kartik brata.
Yeah, that was the confusion for the devotees. Yeah, they thought Bhishma is leaving the body in the Bhishma Panchaka. Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you. So it's almost 1 hour 45 minutes. We end or?
Yes, I think Prabhu, is there any question or comment? Prabhuji? Yes, we can end the call, Prabhu.
Thank you. Let us
all
pay our respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desire of everyone just like desire he, who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned soul. Vancha kalpa taruvesya. Sindhu payevacha. Patitanam pavanibhyo. Namo namah.
Namo Namah.
Govinda ki jai.
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai,
jai. Jagannath Prabhu ki jai. Bhakti
Jai,
Japa Sangha Group ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much.
Pran
Thank you
Govind
very
Prabhu ki
much.
jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.